Welcome back to this episode of The House Always Wins with your hosts, Jeff and Samantha Hause.
I am just so fired up for today's episode. We were literally just in the car, got out a few minutes ago, and I said, babe, what we were just talking about in the car, we've got to get on camera and share this with the world, because if you guys are like me, where when you hear the word recession, you actually get a little fearful, or maybe a lot of fearful, is because the world wants us to be fearful. And it wasn't until a couple months ago when my incredible hunky hubby actually broke it down in very simple terms for me personally. And even as a businesswoman for the last decade, I've never experienced a recession, right? If you're a millennial, you haven't experienced one yet. And so it was really, really good to hear it from him. And now we decided to be the second kind of person during a recession, where we are going to blow ahead of everybody else who is the first kind of person that's waiting on the sideline during a recession. They're scared, they're paralyzed, they pull it on the side of the road, and all of a sudden they're just waiting to see what happens. And the other type of people, like us, like we've decided to be, that we're going to teach you guys to become, are the ones that say, oh, this is our chance. This is our chance to get ahead in life and do something big and not wait and jump while other people are standing still. So what is a recession, babe? And how can you simplify it for them like you've done for me? And now I'm just so fired up about what's going to happen during the next couple of X amount of time. Who knows how long this is going to last, but fill us in.
So let me first off start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. I did not major in finance. I am a business person at heart, and my finance friends that are watching this are probably like, Jeff, you probably simplified this a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, most of us are simple in the way we need to understand things, and just bring this down to a level that's really easy to understand. And here's the crazy part. All this uncertainty, everything that's going on in the world right now, is designed to do exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
And the great news about this is once we start to understand it and give it some context and give it some names, it takes the power away. It takes the uncertainty away and allows us to be able to know what do we do about it. So, the big issues and the words that everyone's talking about right now, inflation and recession. And those two terms are actually perfectly tied and designed to work hand in hand. Even more so, it's our government, it's our banks, it's our financial policy that is actually designed to do that and create these terms to support our economy and move it in the direction that it is moving, or the way that they want it to move. And did you know, more importantly than all of this, the only way to curb inflation is to cause a recession. So sometimes we're really scared about this term recession. Oh my gosh, is it coming? Is it going to happen again? I've heard about this. I've been through this, and it scares the heck out of us. And when we pull it back even more, the first thing that brings us to the point is understanding that inflation is at an all-time high. And really, this just simply means that things are more expensive than they used to be. You go to the grocery store, you buy eggs or milk, you're trying to buy a house or try and buy a car right now, it's more expensive than it used to be. And that is a result of inflation. So the next question we ask ourselves, what causes inflation? Inflation is purely caused by spending. The more demand there is for things, and this takes us back to supply and demand, and we can always get into that a little bit later.
Yep.
But the more demand there is for something, the more we're spending money on it, the prices continue to go up. Think about going and buying a brand new car. If you continue to buy cars over and over and everyone's buying cars, the car company starts to get a little bit smart and says, we're going to make prices higher until people stop spending. Why would we do anything different than that?
Yeah.
Same thing with the banks.
Seriously.
We're looking at buying homes right now. What happens with the interest rates? They continue to go higher and higher and higher. Why does that happen? Because people continue buying homes. We're even talking about it. We need to do certain transactions. We need to acquire and buy certain things. And they can continue to raise the prices over and over and over.
So good.
So,
yeah, not good.
Not good for them.
Not
good to start understanding.
But you're explaining
this.
It really good.
So, how do you get people to stop spending, right? We know inflation means things are causing more, demand is higher, people continue to spend. So how do we get people to stop spending? A recession. The only way to get people to stop spending is to get us into a recession. The goal of all of this, when we talk about inflation, recession, the news, financial policy, the Federal Reserve, if you even want to go that, is to make things so expensive, or to make us as humans so uncertain or scared or concerned about spending that we just stop doing it, right? So we talk about terms like unemployment, rising costs. We talk about gas prices going up, food prices going up. All of this is designed to make us scared. Oh my gosh, am I going to have enough money? What do I do? So I stop spending. Because the only way to curb inflation once again is to bring us into a recession, which just means receding economic decline. Yep. We're spending less as consumers, and now prices can come back down. Just like we talk, companies, banks are smart enough to know when we continue to have demand and we continue to want more, they hike up prices. When all of a sudden things start to get a little bit softer, people are spending less or wanting less, they start to get a little bit nervous. Oh my gosh, I continue to want them to spend, so I'm going to bring prices back down. And boom, once we start having prices come back down, inflation comes back down, and we start getting back into normalcy, or what used to be before we got into inflation. And so, to prove this point even more and to realize that we're not in this alone and that this has happened before, this goes all the way back to 1785 when these first terms were introduced and were designed to work in this way. Inflation leading to recession, recession leading or curbing inflation on that side of it. And more importantly, since 1785, we've had over 48 recessions. 48! And we're still here. We're still surviving. Everyone's still surviving. Yes, it might get a little bit crazy, but once again, we have to remember it's a part of life. It's designed to do so. We're designed to go through these, and more importantly, businesses know that this happens. Businesses specifically plan business cycles, peak seasons, and they even plan for these different things to happen. So now that we know, okay, this is normal, we've been through it 48 times since 1785, and that we will get through it beyond this, the question is, what can we do? How can we prepare ourselves to come out the other side? And what we always promise about this channel is it's about mindset, money, and making moves. And so this is about how do we have the right mindset to make sure our money is safe during a recession and the proper moves to make. So baby, how do we kind of put our minds in the right spots to get ready for this?
Well, our channel is actually about mindset, mentorship, and making moves.
But
we can add money in there. And you know what? I think we should pause this here and have a part 2 of what you can do during the recession to get ahead. So we're going to be back next week with part 2 on how you and your house can strategically plan to be calm, collected, and very, very smart during the recession, so you can win massively too. See you next week.